Outdoor Genetics
podcast.
It's just a clip.
Okay, so let me explain as to why I feel this way or why I say that, because, you know, there's a lot that goes into this. Now, I'm going to be talking to both hunters and anti-hunters, and notice I said talking to. I'm not griping. I'm not getting into this argument. I'm simply sharing what I have read and the way I understand things for both parties. Okay, now here's what I believe. I believe if I'm going to educate somebody on a topic that they firmly disagree with, I am going to figure out, do what I can, research, whatever, their way of thinking. Maybe not necessarily a specific individual, unless there is a specific individual that I am wanting this conversation with. Notice I said conversation and not argument. But if I'm wanting this, I have to do my research to understand why they believe the way they believe. So the problem is that you have anti-hunters willing to shove it down the face of pro hunters, and I don't mean professional hunters, I mean people that are for it, people that agree with hunting. They're willing to shove their beliefs down their throats. They're willing to shove their beliefs down our throats so much to the point it's just like, you have to believe the way we believe, or we're gonna freak out and we're gonna protest and we're gonna and cry and scream, and it's gonna turn into an argument and then a fight and oh. But the problem is us hunters, we do the same freaking thing. Maybe not to the literal extent, but we're taking our pictures and our videos and we're shoving it down their throat, telling them they have to accept it. They have to agree with it. This is a way of life. This is my hunting heritage. This is my beliefs, how my great ancestors was born and raised. Oh, come on. When you get into that argument, you can make these valid points and it turn into an argument, and it just makes both sides, both the anti-hunting and the hunting side, look stupid. It literally makes both parties look dumb. And neither one of y'all are doing yourself any justice, or you're not doing any of your organization any justice at all. Okay, so let me do this real quick. I believe I was reading this in the idausa.org. Hey, will you pull this up really quick? Type in, is hunting cruel to animals? Can you pull that up really quick? So here's the thing. If I'm going to educate somebody over a topic, I'm going to do everything I can, especially if it's a topic that they don't agree with. I'm going to try to do everything I can to understand where they're coming from. So this way, when I try to quote unquote reason or discuss with them, I can say, hey, look, I understand why you... That's it right there. Just leave it right there for just a minute, please. I understand where you're coming from. Now let me show you where I'm coming from. And ask them, hey, are you willing to step into my shoes? Because I'm willing to step into your shoes. You see, yes, there's a bunch of people out there that's not willing to listen. They're not willing to understand. But there are people out there that are willing to actually discuss with you instead of it turning into an argument. There are people out there that don't agree with you that are truly willing to discuss things with you without it turning into an argument. They are out there. And those are the people you want to find. Just like they're saying the same thing about us. Well, there's people that think hunting is okay, but they're willing. Most of them aren't willing to discuss it, but some of them are. Those are the ones we need to find, right? We're sitting in the same shoes, we're just in opposing ideas. So here's the truth. Here's the truth. If you're going to educate somebody on a topic that they don't agree with, that you do, you need to understand where they're coming from. And how you do that is through research and legitimately trying to step into their shoes and see the issues that lie ahead. So, real quick, is hunting cruel? Yes, okay, it is from idausa.org. This was a campaign that was on for against hunting, talking about hunting in defense of the animal, right? So you can read this along with me, or you can look it up for yourself and read the article, which is what I would suggest you do. But hunters cause injuries, pain, and suffering to animals who are not adapted to defend themselves from bullets, traps, and other cruel killing devices. And I'm sorry. it's hard for me to take this seriously because I know the rest of the article. So let's just keep reading here. Hunting destroys animal families and habitats and leaves terrified and dependent baby animals behind to starve to death. Now, like I said, I've read the whole article and the whole thing over that and researched it heavily for both sides. And I get where people come from, but in the same breath, I can't take these types of articles honestly too seriously. Although it's a serious topic, it really and truly is. I can't take it too seriously. Now, here's why. The very first few words of this statement is hunters cause injuries, pain, and suffering. Yes, that happens. And that's a hard topic. Because the truth of the matter is any real outdoorsman will all real outdoorsmen will agree on one thing overall. The number one most important thing when it comes to harvesting an animal is the most perfect, pristine shot placement. It's got to be perfect. Although, yes, there are some hunters and killers out there, notice I did not call them outdoorsmen, that are willing to take those unethical shots. A lot of us outdoorsmen have passed up on what would be another meal, another trophy, another great harvest, all because we didn't have an appropriate shot for a great shot placement. So to say that we cause injuries and pain and suffering to animals, almost as an insinuation that there is nothing else that does so, is kind of flabbergasting and almost comical. Because due to humans, habitat loss does more damage than that. I'm not even talking about predation and things like that. Now, real quick on the idea of predation, let's not, hunters, outdoorsmen, stop bringing up the argument, well, I'm going to hunt them and kill them so that nature doesn't do it because the way nature does it is so cruel and unjust. Oh my goodness, would you stop that argument? Oh my gosh, that is such a petty grab for anything. Like, hey, look, if I kill it, at least it's fast. When a coyote kills it, it takes a long time for that animal to die. Oh my goodness, shut up. Shut up. If you're, no. And I'm a hunter. That's me telling another hunter to shut up with that argument because that's such a stupid argument. Anyways, nevertheless. So, hunting destroys animal families and habitats and leaves terrified, dependent baby animals behind to starve to death. Okay. First off, so like I said, we're not out there trying to cause pain. As a matter of fact, some of us spend hundreds and sometimes even thousands of dollars to send arrows and bullets downrange so that we can make sure that we have the perfect shot placement. So to say that us hunters are the reason why these animals are being injured and have a lot of pain and suffering, that's not, I mean, yeah, it does happen, but it's not an amountable statistic for you to base an entire motive off of, right? The other side of that is hunters. When you're explaining this, it's your job to explain how much of your own personal time, money, energy, blood, sweat, and tears that you put in to making sure that the animal does not suffer, that the animal does not have pain, and that the animal isn't just injured. It's your job. Okay. On the idea of hunting destroys animal families and habitats. Wow. Okay, so here's the other part where I find this comical and I can't take it serious, right? So for me, I grew up watching movies like when I was a kid, right? Like animated movies like Bambi, okay? Who didn't love Bambi? If you didn't love Bambi, then you're not human. Like you're not from this galaxy. If you don't like Bambi, I don't care where you're actually from, you're not from this planet. because who didn't love Bambi at some point in time, right? But the problem with it is ever since we were children, we were conditioned to believe that humanizing animals is something that should be done in real life rather than on TV. And the humanizing of something is just so befuddling if you really go and look at it. Okay, actually, real quick, look up for me, please. You can get off that page. Look up humanizing, the definition of humanizing. You see, there's a word for this. Anthropomorphism, I think is what it's called, anthropomorphism. Humanizing something, right? Like something that's not human and making it, give human intentions, human thoughts, human ideologies, right? So, humanizing. Thank you. Definition of humanizing. This is great. They put a parentheses around this specific word. I love it. To make, in a parentheses, something, close a parentheses, to make something more humane or civilized. Ugh. And here's the thing. Am I saying animals don't feel pain? No. Am I saying they don't feel grief? No. Am I saying they don't mourn? No, that's not what I'm saying. But they do not feel it the way us people feel it. And if you're going to convince me that an animal feels the same grief and feels the same way that I felt when my mother passed away, when I literally held her hand as she took her very last breath. If you're going to tell me an animal feels the same way, then you and I, let me promise you, we are not. Biblically speaking, we may have been made equal, but let me promise you, we are not equal. I'm going to promise you that now. To make people believe that animals feel like humans feel is doing nothing more than pressing your narrative to pursue your motive so that you can have an outcome that you see fit, justified for the world. Anthropomorphism. Now, why is humanizing animals bad? Now, there's so many ways you can go about this. You can actually argue this from both standpoints, but why is it bad? Hunters, listen up. This is not from a hunting forum. This is what I'm about to... I want you to go ahead and pull this up so I'm not paraphrasing. Pull it up. It was on theguardian.com. Why is anthropomorphism or formorphism, whatever, that word, why is it bad when you do that to animals? Can you pull that up really quick? And there should just be like a little drop down tab. I believe it was back in January, like 2015 or 16. That one right there. Select that right there. Okay. Anthropomorphism can lead to an inaccurate understanding of biological processes in the natural world. And I don't remember the name of the lady that was talking about this, but I know this in particular topic isn't necessarily talking about hunting, but go back and read this because it's a really good read. But she also went on to say it can also lead to inappropriate behaviors toward wild animals, such as trying to adopt wild animals as a quote-unquote pet, or misinterpreting the actions of wild animals. Misinterpreting the actions of wild animals. So, when we shoot an animal, we see it go down, and another animal comes over to sniff it. Yes, I have personally seen it happen. Is that animal grieving? Is that animal in mourning because it's sniffing a dead animal? Whether it knows it's dead, freshly dead, or old dead or not. I don't believe so. But I believe that some people believe it because we have totally humanized this animal. This thing does not believe the way we believe. And it's unhealthy for people to think that way. Now, the truth of the matter is, us hunters, us real outdoorsmen, we love animals. And the truth is, we do more on an annual basis when it comes to saving the habitat and saving the animals financially than what any other organization does on a consistent annual basis globally will ever do. Period. End of story. That's a fact. Look it up and try to argue it with me. Well, I don't want to argue. I don't like arguing. Try to discuss it with me. If you're willing to have an open discussion about it, a willingful discussion, you're willing to step into my shoes and I'm willing to step into your shoes, then let's have that discussion. I will invite you onto the show. But to say that we destroy the animals' families and habitats? No. See, here's the thing. I support trophy hunting. Like, I don't care. I don't care if the biggest name in the hunting world comes up to me and says, John, trophy hunting is wrong. I don't agree. I don't agree. And I'm not trying to justify myself, but let me tell you this. This is why I think trophy hunting is justifiable or good or right or the best thing to do. Because here's the thing. People want to argue, right? Especially anti-hunters. They want to argue if you shoot an animal, that means you're canceling those genes from ever being able to be passed down to next generations of animals, right? Which I call bull crap on, because the truth of the matter is, for us trophy hunters, us hunters that want to take out the healthier, the older, the more mature animal that's past his prime, the big bodied, big horned, or big antlered, whatever the case may be, but he has had years and years to breed multiple different females over and over again throughout multiple seasons. They've had their opportunities and they have spread their seed to pass the genetics on. So to tell me that I'm canceling out a gene pool, you are crazy. That animal has went out and reproduced with multiple other females in one season alone. And then in turn, those offspring are going to be going off and doing the same thing. These genetics are being passed down from animal to animal to animal, from an animal that was harvested years ago. And the thing is, we've got scientific proof to prove it. Sorry, I know I turned into a little bit of a preaching mode there. I'm sorry. But it's the truth. It's facts. It's science, people. And to say that hunting destroys their families, okay, that's bogus. But to say it destroys their habitat, what? I get it. Like over in Africa, right? You take out hunters, you take out hunting. Yes, you have poachers come in, and poachers damage a lot of stuff. Now, granted, poachers, poor people, whatever you want to call them, they're just trying to make ends meet in a way that they can make ends meet. I don't agree with it. Doesn't make it right. I'm not trying to be justifiable towards them. But nevertheless, that's what they are. That's what they are. I can't remember if it was Joe Rogan or if it was Steve Rinella. One of those two had said and was actually talking about poaching over in Africa, and they had made a mention to that. You know, these are people, we call them poachers, and then we have anti-poaching activities that go on over there to stop it from happening. But the truth of the matter is they're just, this is their lifestyle over there. They have figured out a way that they can benefit from it, and so that's all they're doing. It's not because they want to be a poacher, it's because they're tired of being poor. They got to do something to make ends meet. And not to say I agree with it. I don't agree with it. But to say we destroy the habitat, we have done way more for the habitat than any anti-hunting organization will ever do. And that's just facts. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Us outdoorsmen, we're an open book. And we're even willing to read the book to anybody. The problem is most of the people are closed-minded. All we have to do is find those few that are open-minded and then let them do the work for us. But it can't turn into an argument. It can't turn into a cussing match, a name-calling thing. It has to be an open-ended discussion where both parties are willing to step into the other one's shoes. That's how it's got to be. If we're going to spread the education for why what we do is important, that's how we have to do it. Even if at the end of the day, that person doesn't agree with you, y'all should both be able to come down to the agreement that, yeah, we agree to disagree, but we both agree that we are doing everything in our willpower to save these animals and to save the habitat. That. If we can't agree on anything, that is what we have to do. We have to at least get together and agree that we both have a common goal. Neither one might be perfect, but together we can at least come to an agreement that we do have the same mission. And that's just a step in the right direction.